desire for freedom, to jump, take a walk, go back to our previous life, just a touch more patience. We have learned not to be in such a hurry, learn to live each moment, do things the Monje way. We too are a family. Taking care of the ones we love and feeding them with our love, we will go back to how things were. Time is on our side. We are on your side. Monje, the pet food that thinks positive.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Talking Dogs with Ante. I'm your host, Ante Lucin, and even if today I have a guest from Croatia who lives not so far away from me, because of all this corona, social distancing and things, we are still doing it online. My guest from his home and me from my home. We all wanted to stay safe. I'm happy to see that there is already over 100 of you watching, and the numbers are going up. I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting evening because my guest tonight not only has judged all around the world and has become well known because of that, but also because he has been breeding top quality dogs for a long time. And I'm sure that not only people who are in his breed, but in general, people know him very well. First, before we start, let me take the opportunity to thank two of my friends, Valentina Župan and Lana Mihić, for this new studio that we have. As you can see now, it's not anymore my yellow chair on a yellow background. They have painted the wall and put new shelves, and I think it looks quite nice. So I'm very grateful to them. And also, let me speak just few words in Croatian. Because our sponsor tonight is Monje, and they have a giveaway for the people who are watching from Slovenia and Croatia. So I think it's easier if I just explain in a few seconds the rules in Croatian. Znači, svi koji gledate iz Hrvatske i Slovenije večeras, sponsor emisije je Monje, i ako odete u našu Facebook grupu Talking Dogs with Ante, tamo postoji objava sa detaljima za večerašnji giveaway. Možete u komentar te objave staviti fotografiju vašeg psa, ne neku s izložbe, nego neku simpatičnu fotografiju, i to vam je sutra do ponoć. Dvije fotografije koje dobiju najviše lajkova dobit će 2 vreće Monje hrane po izboru, tako da super nagrada i nadam se da će puno vas sudjelovati. Okay, back in English now. I have explained the rules. Andrew is saying the new studio looks fabulous. Thank you, Andrew. I am very happy with it. Now it's the time to introduce my guest. That's Mr. Davor Javor from Croatia, a good friend of mine for many years, and as I said, a well-known breeder and a judge. Welcome to Talking Dogs with Ante. Davor, how are you tonight?
Good evening, Ante. Good evening, everybody. I'm just excellent. I survived COVID. I recovered from COVID, and I'm just feeling perfect.
Yes, that's what I wanted to ask you. It's not been a long time ago that you got corona. How did it go? I mean, did you have a lot of problems? Did you feel really bad? Are you now completely recovered? I still didn't have it, thanks God. But tell us a little bit from the first hand. How was the experience?
Yeah, so it started with not very high fever. The highest fever I had was on the second day, and that was 38.6. But after that, started to hurt me absolutely everything. Absolutely everything on the body, and it looked like this virus was very well written program running through your body and trying to find the weak point. From the head, lungs, I don't know, even hips, knee, legs, skin was hurting. And then the problem was basically 2 weeks of temperature, not high temperature, but it was exhausting, absolutely exhausting. And you don't know what's going to happen next day. Thanks God, we have a very good family doctor. And on the first night of my COVID, illness, he brought us this machine to measure oxygen in the blood, and that was very important to measure oxygen in the blood all the time. So he just left this machine on our entry door and asked, okay, here is machine, you have to measure the oxygen all the time, and by the way, do you want me to walk your dogs now while you are sick? So we had a good doctor, and basically it was very stressful because you never know, are you going to be okay tomorrow, or are you going to end up in a hospital? Yeah. So unfortunately, my wife Andrea got it, and about kids we still don't know. Basically, we know that son Philip got it almost without symptoms, and Nina had all symptoms and everything, and she has been tested 6 times negative. So it's simply unbelievable situation.
Yeah.
So
well,
thanks. Now I'm okay. I'm not recovered 100%. I mean, I am feeling fine. I'm just still at some moments a little bit more tired than usual, but every day I'm improving. And I have only one thing to say: try to stay away from this virus as much as you can. I think, and from my experience, the most dangerous is small, little, closed space. If you are outside, no problems, but just don't meet anybody inside indoors.
Yes, that is going to destroy the love life of many people. This bad possibility of meeting people in the small close places, but what can we do? I think this is more important now to stay alive. Anyhow, Davor, I'm happy to see that we have almost 170 people watching live. As usual, people saying hello to both of us from all around the world, from Germany, Sweden, Italy, Ireland, Bermuda, Georgia, Spain, absolutely from everywhere in the world. And that's always something that makes me incredibly happy. And I always say to all the people who are watching, if you want to make me happy, make a photo of your screen, put it in your Instagram story, tag me and put hashtag Talking Dogs with Ante. Then more people can join during the show and I can share it later. That's always a personal favor from my side. Davor, the hardest question of tonight. When are you going to judge or your first show, or when you are going to show your dogs for the first time in 2021?
I think nobody knows the answer. I have some invitations for April, May, and June. So, but what's going to happen? I don't think that anybody can predict, really, because I think that we are entering now in the third wave, and God knows, simply God knows.
Yeah, today I was shocked in the morning when I woke up, because we were quite, not perfect, but quite okay with the numbers. But I see that today Croatia again is over 1,400 people. That's a big number for us. And I think, as you say, I think we are going, can I say this word, shit? We are going back to the shit again. But okay, it is what it is. Okay, Davor, as usual, first of all, I want to bring you back to your childhood. I know you have been interested in dogs since you were a kid, but I'm curious to know, where did the love for dogs come from? Did your parents have dogs? How did you get in contact with purebred dogs? What was actually your first contact with this crazy world of dogs?
Yeah, a lot of dog people, they have parents or grandparents that have been in dogs for a long time. Yeah, my parents were not. They love animals, but they didn't have anything to do with dogs. Yeah, so it was maybe that was I think that was a, let's say, fight of 12 or 13 years to get permission to buy a first dog. Yeah, I bought the first dog really as a student. Yeah, and I made money for this dog, giving instructions from mathematics, teaching mathematics other kids. Yeah, so really I bought my dogs from my work. Yeah, but that really lasted years. Yeah, so I don't know when. I was simply born that way, loving dogs, and when and how, God knows. You simply like that and love that. Yeah. So I can tell you I can tell you something that really from today's experience. Yeah. And everything is related with COVID, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah. We were today I was today with Andrea for one check in one hospital here in Croatia. Yeah. And when I was 10, yeah, and that was many years ago. That was
we will not ask how many years ago.
No problem. I'm not a woman. Yeah, that was 47 years ago. I was very, very sick. I spent 2 weeks in that hospital. Yeah, and I was really sick. And the best gift I received there in that hospital, I was there for my 10th birthday. Yeah, was a bunch like that, maybe 30, 40 old magazines from Croatian Kennel Club that our family friend Shandor Horvat brought me. So for me, that was like a miracle. I got a lot of magazines, and I was sick in this bed there, and I got all those magazines to read, and so that I was 10 at that time. Yeah. So, but even before that, I was interested in the dogs. Yeah.
And this first dog that you got in your student years, was it this American Cocker that you mentioned in your CV as the first champion and first best in show winner, or was it another dog?
No, that was my first dog. Was, usually people, they buy a pet or something, and then from this pet they go from another or something like that. I've been involved in the dog world before I bought my dog. Yeah, so I've been traveling to the shows. I've been really very passionate about that. I was reading a lot. And look, I'm talking about the 80s, late 70s and 80s. No email, no Facebook, no internet, nothing.
Yes.
Only, it was
only letters.
Yes, letters. Every 2 weeks, one magazine with 3 or 4 pages about dogs. When you want to contact some breeder or something, you had to go. I remember we spent a lot of evenings in our student life, student evenings, going to post office to make a long distance call and asking about and talking about dogs. That was better than going to the, party or something. So when I bought my first dog, I was absolutely ready to buy a good dog. Yeah. And that was an American Cocker bitch. Her mother was already world champion bitch, an American champion. And I bought it from Switzerland, from Claude and Jean-Pierre Rigolo. Mm-hmm. And so basically we really started with a good foundation. And that is the most important thing. When you are starting to think about breeding or showing, yeah, if you buy a good dog, you save maybe 10 or 20 years of breeding, yeah, because you immediately skipped few steps or few generations, yeah. So I always say, for a good bitch, don't ask 2 questions. Don't ask when will I get her, and don't ask how much I have to pay, because good foundation bitch has no price. Yeah, and I'm forever grateful to Jean-Pierre and Claude Rigolo for this bitch, and a lot of teaching from them. Yeah,
I wanted to ask you now, because you mentioned Jean-Pierre. I mean, he has been such a well-known person. He has been traveling to the dog shows. He has been winning a lot, and I see that from time to time he posts in my group, but I don't see him at the shows anymore. Are you in contact with him? Do you know? Does he still have dogs, or?
No, I don't know really, because mainly his wife Claude is using his Facebook profile.
Okay.
And, so she is the one communicated, and Jean-Pierre is posting funny pictures and funny stories.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because I was just curious. I mean, I saw that he or she from his profile was putting some comments, but I was curious because I didn't see them for a long time, and before we were meeting them almost every weekend. There is a funny comment from Jose Doval. He's saying, "I'm also from the letters era, and the fax was like a revolution. I imported a Labrador from UK and called her fax because of it." So that's a good one, yes.
Yeah, well, but that's for some people, they simply can't imagine those times, because my daughter, she asked a couple of years ago. She asked us about mobiles, about cell phones, yeah, And then she was totally shocked that we didn't have cell phones. Yeah. And then she said, then she asked, okay, but how did your mother knows where were you? I mean, I said, she didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, we were living in other times. That's for sure. Okay, so you mentioned this the first American Cocker. Do you remember your first dog show as an exhibitor?
Yes.
Where it was?
Yes. I remember it absolutely clearly. So that was that was a black and tan bitch, and it was a beautiful bitch, really. And I showed her. She was about 6 months old, just a couple of days over 6 months, and I showed her at one that was a national show on this hippodrome, yeah, with the racetrack for horses,
Yeah.
And I remember that one hunter was judging, yeah, and so that was we are talking about 85, yeah, and black and tan American Cocker. That I don't know how to compare that with something today. Probably somebody from Mars or Moon or something, yeah. So he was completely shocked to see American Cocker and even black and tan with 10 markings. So she got promising, yeah, not very promising, like promising, which was not good, yeah. I was so depressed about that, but thanks God I think that was Saturday, and on Sunday was international show, and I remember that at that international show, Mr. Lovrencic was judging, yeah, a very famous Croatian all-rounder, and even he used to have American Cocker, yeah. So of course, so the day after, under the really top all-rounder, she got the best puppy of the day. I mean, all breed. So after that, I was
a little bit relieved.
But the start was pretty shocking.
Now I need to ask you something. I'm thinking now. At that time when you had American Cockers, did Kiki Chavrak already have American Cockers or not yet?
No.
So you have run away before she got hers. That's the story why you stopped, or what?
No, if I remember correctly, at that time she had fox terriers, and she liked my bitch a lot. And I think a couple of years later that she bought her first American Cocker, if I remember everything correctly.
Yeah. Okay. Kiki saying bok dečki, because I know that it's not easy to be competition with Kikica. She's a little devil. I want to ask you, Davor, when did you register your kennel name? It's called Reata, and where did the name come from?
Okay, so let's go a few steps back. Yeah. So I registered my kennel name maybe 1 or 2 years after I got this American Cocker bitch Pia, yeah, and the kennel name was J. So one letter, only J. But even at that time in '85, Andrea is responsible for everything, and I'm guilty for everything. Andrea in '85, she bought. Basically, we were boyfriend and girlfriend at that time, yeah. So she or we, whatever. We bought Old English Sheepdog and Afghan Hound, yeah. So I think that was pretty stupid start. That we started with American Cocker bitch, bobtail male, and Afghan Hound bitch, yeah. So
good luck with grooming.
Yeah, we were young and crazy, and really. So I registered kennel name Jay, and Andrea registered kennel name Reata. Yeah. So we had only one. Unfortunately, we had only 1 litter of American Cockers under the prefix J, because that was really, really a bad luck. You know, first again, we are talking about late '80s. No, we didn't. I mean, even the science, veterinarians, we didn't know much about that. Yeah. And unfortunately, this American Cocker bitch was not, let's say, typical breeding bitch. Usually in 80 or 90% cases, you breed your bitch on day 11, 13, and you get puppies. Yeah. She was not like that. Yeah, so we traveled a couple of times for breeding to Switzerland, and even with recommendation from the vets, and no, zero, 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 nothing. Finally, after I don't know how many trials and everything, we found a dog in Zagreb, yeah, and we bred her maybe on day 27 or 28, and then we got the litter from her, yeah, because that was the time. Without today, it's simply impossible. You go for a progesterone, you know where are you, yeah.
Yes.
We spent thousands and thousands of it was not euros then, it was a German mark,
Yeah.
traveling and breeding some in completely wrong time, yeah. And so that is one thing that we today we forget, we take it for normal, but science help us a lot today in breeding.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so I need to ask, how did Andrea come to the name Reata?
Andrea came to the name Reata. I think that she read one book, and that was something, if I remember well, some ranch in Africa or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that, and then when we started really to breed Old English sheepdogs, we completely switched to Reata, both Old English sheepdogs and Afghan hounds, because many people don't know, but we used to have maybe 10, 11 liters of Afghan hounds. Yeah. And then we started also to breed Old English sheepdogs.
Yeah. Tell me. You mentioned the start of the story with American Cockers. In the meantime, Kiki Chavrak has clarified that she fell in love with your Pia, and that's why she bought her first American Cocker. You mentioned how did it start? How and why did it finish, the story with American Cockers?
You know, Ante, I think that I love the breed. I absolutely love the breed, and I still adore American Cockers. Yeah, but we were really so unlucky with breeding of that. Yeah, if Pia was, let's say, standard bitch, yeah, and if that started normally, I think that we would have even American Cockers today. Yeah, but it was such a big disappointment. Yeah, not we were simply not able to get pups from her. Yeah. And even at that time, I've been handling American Cockers for Claude and Jean-Pierre, and really, I absolutely enjoyed them. Yeah, but we didn't have luck in breeding, and then we started to breed Old English sheepdogs and Afghan hounds first. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me, now you have mentioned the Afghans. Tell me, how did that story start, and tell us a little bit about your involvement in the breed and why this story has finished.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, we started in 1 year, in just a couple of months of difference, in three different breeds. Yeah. So then we basically bought Afghan Hound bitch, also from Jean-Pierre and Claude Rigolo from Switzerland. It was a beautiful red bitch, and after that we got another red bitch Afghan Hounds. Yeah, and we started to breed them, and we loved this breed a lot. Even today I enjoyed judging them. Yeah, but I think that we were maybe we were just wrong time or something. It was almost impossible to find the good families for Afghan hounds. Yeah, again, we are talking about late 80s or beginning of 90s. It was really, every litter was really difficult to place puppies, and then you try, and after some time we just switched to Old English sheepdogs. And that was a big love.
Yeah. And in your CV, you mentioned 2 more breeds that you have been involved in, and that's English Cocker Spaniels and Golden Retrievers. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, because at that time we used to live in one big house with the 3 floors. My parents, we were in the middle. My brother is in the top. Yeah, on the top floor. And my brother, he wanted a Golden Retriever. So basically that was his Golden Retriever, living in the same house. And I've been showing a lot of this. That was one dog from Finnish import. It was a beautiful carving dog. Yeah. And then I've been showing a lot of this dog, and he was really top dog and top producer. Wonderful dog. Yeah. About English Cockers, we had, I still love cockers, both American and English. And then we had a couple of English cocker males. We never bred English cockers. We just enjoyed showing them, and that was really nice time in English cockers. But I think that was really just to. It was good to have experience in different dogs, different breeds, different groups, and then after some time, you really know what you want. Yeah. And then we stayed with all English sheepdogs. Yeah.
So now you give us the answer. You say then you really know what you want. So why did you and Andrea want to continue your life with the old English sheepdogs? What is so special about them?
First, I think everybody is at the first attracted how they look like. Yeah. They are big, shaggy dogs, white head, lot of coat, big, bear-like, big clown, and everything. That's one thing. But then when you really going deeper in that, you realize that that it's much more important the temperature and nature of this dog. And it's a sheepdog. They are pretty obedient. At the same time, they are funny dogs, and we just like that. It suits well our way of life, and we really liked showing them, but we enjoy every day living with them.
Yeah, that's all, of course also very important. I want to ask you, many judges, when you talk with people, many judges will say that old English sheepdogs are not very easy to judge. So if you would need to explain to somebody, let's say, who is becoming a new judge for the breed, how in your eyes the perfect bobtail should look like, what would you say are the, let's say, most important characteristics of the breed?
Yeah, I mean that's I can talk a few hours about that, but to make it short, you try to breed as close as possible to the standard. Yeah. So then another problem is that standards are not very detailed, and there is always space for interpretation. Yeah, that's one thing. Another thing is that we have today we have a couple of standards. Yeah. We have FCI standard, which is English standard. We have American standard, Canadian, Australian, with differences. That makes life even more complicated. Yeah. But if I have to explain, let's say, perfect bobtails as close as possible to the standard, I would say, first of all, very sound and very good moving dog. Yeah. When you have sound and moving dog, that means that the dog is built correctly. Yeah. And then you go for a type. Yeah. It's not hard. It's not easy to define the type. Yeah. But they have to be square or almost square, and then you have to have some typical characteristics. Yeah. One of the typical characteristics of the bobtails is a top line. It's slightly rising top line, not level, not sloping top line. Yeah. Coat is very specific on this dog. It's undercoat and harsh coat. You have basically when you touch the coat, you have to hear the coat. Yeah. You have head, well-defined, big head with well-defined stop, strong muzzle, length of neck.
And yeah, one thing that I think that that is different than in many other breeds is the top line in the bobtail.
Yeah, that is yeah. The top line is definitely characteristic of the breed. Yeah, because the top line shouldn't be level, shouldn't be sloping, shouldn't be rising. It is just the rise over the loins. Yeah. And for that, when you are judging bobtails, and that can be, you can't, you can see almost everything on a dog in movement. Yeah. But for the top line, you have to put your hands on the dog and you have to go in the coat. Yeah. Just to feel this rise. Yeah. Other things you can see without, but for that you have to put your hands and really feel it.
So it's in general, let's say it's a kind of a level top line with a rise over the loins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So it is let's say more rising top line and but with arch over the loins. Yeah, not too much. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the coat and color. And talking about that, there is a question from Andrew Brace, and then we can connect it with this question. He says, talking of judging the breed, am I right in thinking that some Old English win their titles in the USA with quite noticeable white splashes on the body, which would never be shown in the breed's homeland? Is the difference in the breed standards responsible for this? And how often are puppies born with splash markings?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's an excellent question. Yeah, and thank you, Andrew, for that. Yeah. And I think that is one of the, let's say, that is one of the biggest problem in the breed if you don't treat it properly. Yeah. And I think it's even that's not only problem in Old English sheepdogs. Yeah. It is a big problem that for many breeds we don't have one standard worldwide. Yeah. As I mentioned before, in Old English sheepdogs, we have at least 4 standards. We have FCI, which is English. We have American, Canadian, Australian. Yeah. So in FCI standard, English standard, white splashes on the body, you can have something small that will pass the show. That will be okay. If the spot is bigger, that's not okay, and basically you can't go to the shows, or even in some countries you can't breed with that. Yeah. In the States, that is perfectly okay. An American and Canadian standard, even Australian standard, are perfectly okay with that. Yeah. So now you think that again, Americans change something. They invent American type, blah blah blah, and all these stories. Yeah. Here in Old English sheepdogs, that's not the case. Yeah. Original, even English standard allowed white spots in the body. Yeah. And I don't know how many, maybe a few decades ago, English Kennel Club changed the standard. They changed the standard. They throw away white spots from the standard. American Canadians, they didn't want to accept that, and they say no reason to accept that. We still want to have, and for us it's perfectly okay to have dogs with the spots. Yeah. I can tell you that make a lot of problems, especially if you are breeding with combination of let's say European and American or Canadian or North American blood. Yeah. And then you are getting in the litter, you're getting dogs with the white spots. Yeah. For example, I have now a litter of 11, and they are a combination of American and American, Canadian. I'll say North American, because there are a lot of Canadian dogs in it, and European lines, and those white spots are coming. And then you are here in Europe, you are in a situation that you have to, let's say, immediately in the litter, that you have to eliminate maybe 20, 30, or 40% of the pups and put them in a pet homes. Yeah. And then you are making selection on the rest. Yeah. While at the same time, in Australia, America, Canada, they can select the best pups from the litter for further breeding. Yeah. And I mean, this is crazy situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
can have a dog here in Europe. You can have a puppy with a lot of white. Yeah. And you can't do anything with this puppy. You send this puppy.
Yeah, this is what I want. You say you cannot do anything. Can you sell it in the USA?
You send the puppy to States or to Canada, breed that puppy there. This puppy will produce some pups with white spots, some without. You import back the dog without, and then what's the point in that? What's the point? And especially this white spot on the body, they are not related to any health issues. There's no scientific proof. Yeah. And I think that was a big mistake in UK, that they changed the standard. Yeah. And they changed
do you know what was the reason to change it? Why did they decide to change it?
Yeah. I think that they thought that was related with the health. Yeah, but there's no scientific proof for that. Yeah, Americans, Canadians, Australians, they are breeding dogs with white spots. Absolutely no problems. They are healthy, happy dogs. No problems with, I don't know, eyes, ears, sores, nothing. That's not related in this breed. Yeah. So I'm so sorry, because sometimes I have really the best pups in the litter, especially here in Europe with white spot. Then you have to place the best pup in a pet home.
Yeah, it's interesting because there have been few comments while you were talking about this. Isabel Alves was writing, the best are often the mismarked ones, and then your wife Andrea was writing, yes, very often, unfortunately for us.
Yeah.
So that's obviously something that happens. Desi Murphy is writing, years ago in the States, the spots were a no. So obviously also in the States that now it's okay, but before it was not okay. And Christina Bailey is saying, very good question, Andrew Brace, even though it will be difficult to Davor to give a satisfactory answer. So it is obviously an issue that bothers a lot of breeders. And I don't know who can do something about that, but
yeah, because that I know that it's not easy to give an answer. I'm telling you what I think about it, yeah, but it is related to Old English sheepdogs, but it is related to many other breeds, yeah, because usually here in, let's say, in Europe or FCI, always is the point, Americans are changing the breed, yeah, many breeds, yeah. Here in Old English sheepdogs, Americans stick to original standard, and the UK changed the standard and eliminate dogs with the spots. Yeah, in a history of breed, some of the top winning dogs in States were dogs with white spots. Yeah, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, so for them it's hard to understand that somebody will put a dog with a spot to the pet home.
Yeah. That's as you said. That's a problem in many breeds, especially because now what is in a way interesting for me. Many times we talk about these breeds that have these differences in the standard, but they look also completely different, like golden retrievers or English Springer Spaniels or something like this. But in general, from my experience, which is not big with your breed, I would say more or less, maybe except of the color, they look quite the same in Europe and in the USA, Canada, Australia. I don't see big differences.
I'm glad about that, and you are very right about that. Old English sheepdogs, the situation in the Old English sheepdogs is not like situation in the breeds you mentioned, like Golden Springers or I don't know what. Yeah, no, because we were, and when I say we, I think breeders both in Europe, in Australia, in North America, we were clever enough to mix our dogs, to mix our bloodlines on time. Yeah. And now in some pockets in the States or in Europe, you have dogs that are a little bit different. But the lot of dogs are simply mixed of the bloodlines. Yeah. And there's no big difference in the breed today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you open the pedigree of my dogs, yeah, there's a lot of American and Canadian dog in it, yeah. But nobody can say for them they are American dogs or something, yeah. And still in States, you have beautiful, let's say, European imports winning a lot there, and they are really. I mean, it's good that we exchange the bloodlines on time.
Yeah.
And we are not in this situation like in English Springers or Golden Retrievers or even English Cockers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you have English Cockers and American English Cockers and things like that.
Yeah, that's true. Anyhow, Davor, there is about 200 people watching live, and this is obviously something that is very interesting for the viewers. There have been quite a lot of comments about this, and there are two questions. So let me ask you these two questions, and then we can continue with my questions. Rob Ellis is saying, that this is not a question, this is just a comment that if you want, you can say something about this. He says, I believe the US encouraged more white as they wanted more glamour. Unfortunately, it resulted in splashes throughout the gray, which should be discouraged?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's one opinion. I respect this opinion, and I don't agree with this opinion. Yeah, for me, splash in the coat, absolutely not a problem.
Okay, so there is a question from Bobby Templeton, who is saying, would you put up a white spotted Old English over a correctly marked dog in a country that doesn't want spots?
When you are judging any breed in any country in the world, yeah, you have to follow the standard, the valid standard of that breed in that country. Yeah, so my placing, for example, if I'm judging the same lineup of dogs, yeah, my placing in Europe or in any FCI country and in AKC or CKC easily can be very different. Yeah, especially in Europe, the dog with a lot of white, with big white splashes. No, I would not put the dog up because it is against valid FCI standard. I don't like this thing in a standard, but as a judge, I have to follow the standard in a country where I'm judging. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing is FCI, another thing is AKC, CKC, or Australian Kennel Club. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You are judging obviously the breed all around the world. If you would need to say, let's say, generally talking, what you feel at the moment is the biggest problem of the breed, what would you say?
I think that the breed is in good shape. Yeah, a lot of people would say, 20 or 30 years ago we used to have much better dogs. I don't agree with that. Yeah, I think that we have very good dogs today. Yeah, what is the biggest problem? We are controlling health again, thanks to the science, thanks to veterinarians. We are controlling health and health issues better than ever. We are doing more genetical tests than ever, which helps a lot. So I think that, but if you ask me simply from this point, yeah, I think there's no many Old English sheepdogs which are really good movers and the typical movers. Yeah, that's one thing, and that is something that is not easy to fix. Yeah, another thing that is much easier to fix. Yeah, it can be fixed in a few hours. Is I think that in a lot of countries, on many places, the dogs are simply overgrown. Yeah, they are looking more and more like huge bichons or something like that, and I think that's really not good. That's stupid. We are all grooming, we are all trimming, but sometimes they are really like a big, let's say, big bichons or something. Yeah. I really don't.
Okay,
I don't like that.
I have questions also about that. But before that, let me just read a comment from the FCI president, Tamas Jakel. He says, generally speaking, to eliminate valuable dogs from the gene pool of any breed can cause side effects and helps to get to the bottleneck effect in the long run. Color is one of these features. As long as the color mentioned as a disqualification and originally belongs to the gene pool of the given breed should have some historical reasons and ideas behind, but in the long run can hurt. So this is what we were talking. Yes, with these colors and these things, it's not an easy thing, of course. You mentioned the typical movement, and there are many. I listened it from time to time, so maybe I can ask you to clarify that. Most of the breeds from the FCI Group 1 carry the neck while moving differently than some other breeds. And I hear many times people watching the herding dogs and saying, oh, he is nice, but his head is down, which I suppose it's typical for most of these breeds. They don't need to carry the heads up the same like a fox terrier or Airedale or whatever. What is actually this balanced movement? How it should look like from the profile?
Yeah. So that's the typical thing in a bobtails is when they move, they carry head low. Yeah, that is normal. When you show the dog, the best is to show the dog on the loose leash. Yeah, and it is perfectly okay. That's typical. It's normal low head carriage. Yeah, if you try to put the head up, yeah, and you can do that with the leash, you are completely destroying the movement because then then you are destroying, the head is up, you are destroying front movement affects back movements, and you are destroying the movement. That can look nice and flashy, but it's wrong. Yeah. So in Old English sheepdogs, head is carried low.
Okay, and there is also comment, but I think that's we have covered it now from Maria Talvite. She says, "What about the movement today? Or it is only that the handlers are now speeding the dogs too much? Is it something also fashionable in bobtails, like in many other breeds, that handlers like really to run very fast with them? Is that typical, or that's not typical?"
Yeah, I mean, you can see that in Old English sheepdogs. You can see that in so many other breeds, and it is so wrong. Especially in Old English sheepdogs, you don't have to run fast. You have to move the dog in some, let's say, normal average speed. The dog, you have to notice typical rolling of the dog, and what is also absolutely okay and absolutely typical for this breed is pacing. Which for many other breeds that's wrong. For Old English sheepdogs, that's normal and typical. The dogs can pace, and simply when you are judging them and when the dogs are pacing, that's not a problem. You just ask the handler, make another round, and try to move the dogs without pacing. But pacing is not a fault.
Yeah. The thing is that many times when I watch the breed, because I like to watch them, sometimes a lot of handlers, they start always slowly so that they can show this spacing, and then they speed up and show a different. Is that something that you ask when you are judging, to see these both kinds of movement?
I don't ask that specifically. But after but it's good to ask. I'm not doing that, but it's good to ask. But I think that I'm in the breed for such a long time. Really, whatever you do, I will always see what I want to see, and if I don't see it immediately, then I will ask to change the speed or something. But you are right. You notice that very correctly, and that is the way that a lot of people are showing. They start slow. Even I'm doing that. You start slowly, and then you speed up a little.
Okay, I think we have. Let me see. Just okay. I think we have covered the movement more or less. Maria Talvite says, "I don't see rolling anymore," and Christina Bailey says, "So many Old English handlers move their dogs far too fast." So that's obviously something that also we needed to cover. I want to go back now to something that you mentioned.
Let me tell to one thing, and maybe that can be a good tip for let's say exhibitors and something. And this is not Old English sheepdog specific. So when you evaluate the movement, and you are judging dogs, you have just you have maybe 1 minute, less than 1 minute to evaluate movement, because you have 2 or 3 minutes per dog. So when the dog is moving, so there are so many things that you have to watch and to evaluate on this dog, and especially if you are going to move too fast. So one thing that you are looking for, the reach and drive. And that is nice. Everybody knows, and everybody is looking for that. But another thing that you have to look, what's going with the legs under the body. And with this increased speed, there's a lot of overreaching under the body, which is wrong. So really, especially for unexperienced handlers, it's totally stupid to move dogs too fast, because experienced judge is not just watching front and back. The judge is watching what's happening under the body. And that's not only for bobtails.
I completely agree with you. I think that sometimes in some breeds, I watch these videos, even small breeds, and they move these dogs so fast that you can't even see what is happening, how fast they are going. But okay, yes, it's one of the things that is now becoming modern. I hope it's going to change, because you and me, we are gaining weight, So fast running is not anymore for us. So we prefer this normal speed.
Yeah.
I want to ask you
I don't have that problems of moving
Yeah.
too fast anymore.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. I want to ask you. You have mentioned it a little bit before, and there was a comment from Jer Marder. She says, coming from the US, I agree with you about grooming. I'm more old-fashioned after 40 years of breeding and showing. With this grooming that you were talking, if you need to say somehow, I don't know how easy it is to say, what is enough, what is too much. We know that in Europe at the moment there are countries like Switzerland, no spray, no chalk, no problem. Then we have countries where everything is allowed, where is a lot of hairspray, a lot of grooming, a lot of scissoring, trimming. What is, in your opinion, let's say, something that is okay for a bobtail?
Yeah. I think that nobody can give the right answer today about that. Yeah, because everybody will say what I'm doing, that is correct. Yeah, and obviously it can't be 100 things correct. Yeah, so I really don't want them to look like a bichons. Yeah, that's one thing. Another thing is I'm not happy when they are just brushed. Yeah, when they are just brushed there, but that, because sometimes I even put on the Facebook photos of a brushed, clean, washed, brushed dog, yeah, without any trimming or scissoring, nothing. And then the same dog, 2 hours later, trimmed, scissored. They look like completely different animals. Yeah, I think that the dog that is just brushed, yeah, and maybe some scissoring on the paws or something. I don't think that this dog can win anything anywhere. Yeah, so we have to find some balance somewhere in the middle. Yeah, which is reasonable and not too much, and that's not easy. Yeah, and then you mentioned Ante chalks, sprays, and all those things. Yeah, the Old English Sheepdog with a good coat quality. Yeah, that means harsh coat. Yeah, harsh coat. This dog really doesn't need anything in the coat. Yeah, it is enough. It is enough to give a good, regular grooming and everything, and regular maintenance. That's one thing, but just it is enough before the show to give a bath only on the white parts. Yeah, we never wash all dog before the show. Basically, we never wash gray parts before the show. Yeah, because white, that is important. For that you have to wash that. Yeah. Gray, no, it is enough to brush it. Then you are not spoiling coat quality. Yeah.
So there should be something something yes, as you said, some kind of balance, and it's what Orit Nevo is saying. What can we do? Any discussion, we are all agree about over grooming and overdone handling, but nothing is done about it. All breeds are involved in that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and then there is a nice comment from Tamas Jakel. He says, Ante, you should know that as a great handler, when you have to handle a dog with faults to be hidden, then a good way to try is to run fast. But a really experienced judge will not eat your cake, at least not always. Yeah. Well, as I said, I also, as the same as Davor, I don't have any more problems with moving too fast the dogs. So with me, they are all fine. And then we have a comment from Victor Rosado, who is saying in many cases less sculpting, and I say sculpting, not grooming, because grooming is different, enhance good body conformation. So this is what you do, obviously, with the bobtails. Yes, you do a little bit of this sculpting. You are like making a shape of a dog, which is going to be a little bit more attractive or more nice for the eye.
Yeah,
definitely. Okay, another thing I want to ask you. The breed is called bobtail, but it's very difficult to see them without tail anymore. How often do you get in the litters dogs born without the tail? And did this long tail spoil a little bit the outline of the dogs? Do you like it or you don't like it? because I think that with this kind of grooming, when they have this nice big ass, and then there is this tail going out like something strange, it, to me, it little bit, I don't know, breaks the picture. But you can say.
Yeah. So there are a couple of questions in this question. Yeah. So first, I'll start with bobtail. Yeah. And many people still believe that they are born without tail. Yeah. So as far as I know, and I have asked a lot of people, yeah, they are never born without tail. They are always born with a tail. Yeah. Everything I was able to find was that I knew a friend who had a neighbor, and neighbor had an aunt, and she had 20 years ago the dog without a tail. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm aware only just of a couple of dogs with short tails. Yeah. And this is not bobtail gene. Yeah. Those are some let's say some malformations or some defects or something. Yeah. In our more than 30 years of breeding, we got just once, we got a puppy without the tail. Yeah. And when we got the puppy without the tail, I was totally shocked. Yeah. Because I couldn't believe that was possible and that would ever happen. Yeah. I was really in a shock. Yeah. And when I saw this puppy, it was big and nice and well developed puppy. Yeah. But this puppy didn't have a tail, but he didn't have a anus. Yeah. So it was completely, we had to put the puppy down immediately. A few years later, the same thing happened to one of my friends. She called me totally excited. I got a dog without the tail. I just asked about anus. No. Immediately have to put the dog down. Yeah.
So that's why are they called bobtails?
They are different. Yeah, there are different stories, but basically let's say predominant story is that that was the way in England to let's say to mark working sheepdog. Yeah. To cut the tail and then and to avoid paying taxes. That's one of the stories. Is it true or not? I don't know, but that's the story. Yeah. Yeah. To come back to your question about tails. Yeah. That's another problem in the breed, and not only in this breed. Yeah. Because in many European countries, it's forbidden docking and cropping. Yeah. And so we simply can't do that. It's the law, and that's yeah. So we faced that more than 20 years ago. Yeah. And when we used to live in Denmark and then we had the first litters with the tail. Yeah. Of course, we are not used, and that was completely unusual to see the dog with the tail, without the tail. Now we have pups with the tail. We didn't know what to do with that, and something, but after some times you get used on that, and especially now today when I'm judging them, sometimes I come back from a judging or something. I don't even know. I don't even remember who had a tail, who didn't have a tail. Yeah. So now the situation is that that's again making a problem about that, because let's say I have a wonderful, absolutely wonderful Canadian import. Yeah. The male. I bought the male. I didn't even plan to buy this puppy. When I saw the puppy, I bought the puppy in Canada, and the dog is docked. Yeah. And I brought him here in Croatia. Yeah. I can't show him nothing, zero. Yeah. So finally, I put the dog on a plane. Yeah. And he flew back to Canada while we were living there. I finished the dog there in less than 24 hours in 4 shows, yeah, which is absolutely minimum with group placings. Yeah. And now he's back to Croatia. Yeah. Absolutely outstanding dog from the top bloodlines. I can't show the dog. Yeah.
Well, you can. In Bosnia, in Bulgaria, in Serbia, in Hungary, in Romania.
Yeah, and there are a couple more. Yeah, you are right. Yeah. At the same time, at the same time, I had a wonderful bitch with the tail, with us in Canada. And I have tried to show her, I think maybe 6 shows in 2 weekends. I say, okay, let's try. In 6 shows, so she was the only one in the breed. She was not disqualified, which was good. So she was each time best of breed. She has never been placed in a group. Even the dogs that I was really surprised how they came to this ring, went over us. And then after 6 shows, I said, okay, I don't want to put myself in this situation, take a bitch, and I don't even want to put judges in this situation. So it is, and then again, we put the bitch on the plane. We came to the split shows and finished her in 4 shows with the group placing and everything. So that is a big problem, that here in Europe we can't seriously show dogs without tails. On the another side, in America, Canada, it is possible to finish dog with a tail, but it is not easy. It is not easy. I remember a few years ago, I was judging one very beautiful shows in Florida, and I gave a major to one European import with a tail, It was a nightmare on this social media. It was really a nightmare. That was like theory of I don't know what, but it was a very good dog. Even now, this dog is producing wonderful puppies there, but it is almost impossible to show, In some breed is easier, but in bobtails, disaster.
I spoke about this when my guest was Linda Pitts, because I remember when Javier and I went for the first time to this Orlando Eukanuba World Challenge. I remember if people would come from Europe with the American Cockers with the tail, it was impossible for them to win anything. Now already yes, but some years ago absolutely impossible.
Now
it's
easier. Now it's in some breed it's easier. It's possible. It's not a big problem. But in all the English sheepdogs, it's still a problem. I don't know. I don't understand why.
Let me just read to you 3 comments. Going back to grooming, there was a good comment from Andrew Bray saying, surely the secret to expert trimming is producing a dog that doesn't look trimmed. So that's always, yes.
That's a good one. That's excellent one.
To groom a dog that he doesn't look groomed. And then Christina Bailey is saying, I only know of one Old English which was born without a tail. It was in a litter of the late Topsy Jones. It was a healthy female puppy, but never bred from. And Diane Anderson is saying, problem is there is no proper description of the tail in the standard, tail set, carriage length, etc. Is the truth that there is no explanation?
That is very true. That is very true. In the standard is like something like tail carries naturally, and I mean,
this is similar with the schnauzers. I mean, it's written natural tail. And what is the natural tail? You have a litter of 5-6 puppies. They all have different tails, and they are all natural tails.
I mean, natural is everything that is not artificial.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, which is quite a big range of things. But okay, I want to ask you, Davor, another thing. You mentioned it in the beginning of the interview. When you compare the bobtails with which you started years ago to the bobtails of today, do you think that the breed has changed a lot? And do you think that the breed is going in a good direction, or the old ones were much better than the new ones?
Yeah. Well, again, I'll give you an answer that's not going to be very popular.
Okay. I don't have problem with your popularity. I'm just thinking of mine.
Yeah. Because majority of the people would say, the breed was much better years ago. I don't think so. I think that the breed is going in a good directions. There's good breeders, good dogs, healthy dogs, and wonderful looking dogs. Yeah, that's one thing. I was really, really happy, and I am, both Andrea and I, we are forever grateful to Christina Bailey, and obviously she is here.
Yeah, she's watching and commenting.
She sent us 3 wonderful, wonderful puppies from UK. Our foundation were from her kennels. Yeah, absolutely wonderful dogs, and that is something that I was talking about. Yeah, don't for a good foundation bitch, don't ask when and how much. Yeah, exactly. We got absolutely top bitch from Christina, and this bitch in absolutely every pedigree of our dogs today is this bitch and the male. Yeah, even we did we did, of course, we did it wrong way. First, we bought a male, and after that, we bought a female for this male, which is totally crazy, but it worked, and
Yeah.
it worked. Thanks God, and thanks to Christina for that forever.
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask you. I know already what is going to be one answer, but let's see if there is something more that you want to add. In case that somebody would offer you the possibility to change something in the FCI standard of the breed, what would you change, and would you change anything? I suppose you would change the part of the color, but is there something else that you think that in the FCI standard should be changed?
I think that number one is absolutely white patches in the body. That is absolutely number one. This is really important, and this is making us a lot of problems. Yeah, that is something that I would change. That's another thing I would add. I would add much more detailed description of the tail. Yeah, because I remember when we got the docking ban. Yeah, first nobody knew how the tails would look like. Yeah, because nobody for the decades or centuries nobody knew.
So,
Simply
yeah, yeah.
we didn't know what would happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we didn't have experience. Yeah, and that was to put tail naturally. That was some kind of a compromise. Yeah, because but now after almost 20 years or something. Yeah, now we have idea what we want. Yeah, it is not in the standard, but I have very clear idea which type of the tail I like, and I believe that's a good one, but it's not written in the standard. Yeah, so I think that color and tail description, that would be two things to include in the standard.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay, and then the last question about your breed. You have mentioned before that nowadays with the improvements in the science, there are a lot of health checks that can be done, a lot of genetic tests. My question is, are the bobtails a healthy breed, and what kind of tests, health checks you do for your dogs?
I think they are healthy, and I don't think that they have a lot of health problems. Yeah, for us, basically the thing that you have really be very careful is about feeding. Yeah, but if you feed them properly, if you find a good diet for them, then you don't have these problems, and then it goes.
We are talking about allergies or something.
Not not really allergies, but I'm more about poo and stool and everything, things like that. Yeah, but because they can't eat, they are, let's say, my experience is that they are sensitive on a food, what they eat. Yeah, but if you feed them properly, find a good food for them, no problems about that. What we are checking? We are checking hips and elbows, eyes and ears, and then we are checking five genetical tests, genetical diseases. Yeah, and here it is what is important. Yeah, what is important really to know. Yeah, with hips, you are checking hips, and you are breeding with the good hips, or well, let's say excellent hips. Yeah, which HDA. Yeah, you can't predict what's going to happen. Yeah. Or you can have for generations excellent hips, and then you can get a dog with a bad hips. Yeah, the science still doesn't know how to treat that. Yeah, there are some projects and everything, but we still don't know. It's not operational. Yeah. On another side, on genetical tests, yeah, this is a very tricky situation because I always say I'm breeding dogs. I'm not breeding tests. Yeah. So if you're insisting that every genetical test should be negative, yeah, you are making a huge selection, and then you are getting you are getting dogs that are negative on everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they can be ugly, they can be untypical, they can be whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to find a balance, because if you eliminate dogs that are not that are, let's say, that are for breeding, if you eliminate carriers of some diseases, plus you eliminate dogs with white splashes, your gene pool is going to shrink incredibly. Yeah? So our philosophy is, we have genetical tests. Yeah, thanks for the scientists and thanks for science, we have to use that cleverly. Yeah? So I mean, use it as a tool, not as a rule that that everything must be clear. No, simply because
I mean,
not wide enough.
I was talking also to the people who have these laboratories who are make these genetic tests, and I mean, in general, is what you said. I mean, if you have a bitch which is a carrier for something, what you are going to do is you are going obviously to use a male which is clear for that disease, but you are not going to take her out of breeding just because she's a carrier. So because if you mate with a male which is clear, there is no any problem for the puppy. So yes, I think as you said, you know, it needs to be used cleverly, like everything else in life. Yes, it helps us to produce healthy dogs, but not, there is no need to eliminate all the dogs that are carriers. That would be absolutely crazy.
I mean, we are trying to breed dogs that are completely clear of everything. Yeah,
of course. But that's not always possible.
But that's almost impossible. Yeah. So the most important is not to get affected dogs. Yeah. That not to get
exactly.
Sick
dogs. Yes. Yeah. I wanted to. There was a question from Rob Ellis. Tell us your thoughts on coat texture and color, but we have speak a lot about that. I want to ask you just as the last question. Rui Alves Monteiro is asking, and I think that's maybe you have mentioned it, but maybe you can say it a little bit more precisely. How for you should be the correct undocked tail?
So for me, I don't like tail that is carried high and that is curled. Yeah, I don't like tail that is carried low between the legs. Yeah, it is those things are related with the croup, with the position of the croup, and with the temperament as well. Yeah, I like the tail which is, let's say, continuation of the top line. Yeah, and then with slightly turn on the top. Yeah, but again, that is my preference. Yeah, that is not in the standard. Yeah, and I'm not, when I'm judging, I'm not applying that.
Yeah. I think that your popularity has now grown because there are a lot of people who love this saying test is a tool, not a rule. I think this is going to be used quite a lot among the doggy people. And there is an interesting comment from Andrew Brace who says the late Gwen Broadley, arguably the greatest Labrador breeder ever and a wonderful judge, when the hip scoring scheme first arrived and everyone went hip mad, said often, "My dear, I'm breeding for Labradors, not hips." So yeah, it is it is similar today. Yeah, it's similar with the things today. Okay, while we are talking, I see that my Instagram is ringing, so people are putting photos of us and sharing things in their Instagram stories. I ask you to continue to do that. I will be happy to share it later. Now, Davor, is the time for the quick questions, which are usually quite difficult for my guests. But let's see how you are going to survive this little part.
Can I use some jokers?
Well, maybe one. Usually, I allow one, but you will have to be very careful which one you are going to use.
Okay.
Which show that you judged till now you consider to be the highlight of your judging career?
Best in Show at Sydney Royal.
Yeah, that's certainly something to remember. Okay, that was easy. The next one. Favorite bobtail of all times, not bred or owned by you?
I don't know.
Hey. Are you going to use the joker here? Because then
No,
you are going to be in a
no, I
trouble.
really don't. I really don't know, and I don't. Maybe I would end up at least with 5, 6, 7, 10 dogs. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I really don't know, because it would not be fair to just to put one name on it. Yeah.
okay, okay, okay. So there you have used your joker, and bye bye. In your opinion, the best dog you ever bred?
I need another joker. Yeah.
No,
So
finito.
yeah. So again, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't tell one dog that was that. Okay, we have a dog that were extremely successful. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that those dogs were the best dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, usually people go with one dog that has been, let's say, the closest to their heart.
yeah. If you ask me, which one, then I would say that really, because now it's fresh and whatever. The dog that I have at home right now, he's really something that I like so much. Yeah.
Okay. There is a comment from Andrea saying, "Now be careful." So
Yeah,
let's
I
see.
know. Yeah.
Let's see if you gave a good answer or a bad answer. We will see
Yeah.
that. Okay. The next one is, what would be the favorite win with your own dogs? Something that you won with your own dogs that you will never forget.
Yeah. Okay. Our dogs, they have won so many things around the world and everything, and even groups at the World Show, European Show, reserve best in show at the European Show. You remember that, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very well.
But I think I think probably the biggest win was our dogs won European bobtail. Okay, our dogs won European Old English Sheepdog Specialty twice. Yeah, and once we won best in show there as a specialty best in show there, with an entry of, I think it was 185 Old English Sheepdogs. I mean,
That's amazing.
Today I think it's hard to imagine to have almost 200 dogs at one place and to win best in show there. I think that was one of the biggest wins for sure. Yeah, because one thing is to win at the European show or world show or something. That something completely different is to win at the big breed specialty. Yeah,
that's true.
And I believe that that a lot of breeders, they simply prefer winning at the big breed specialties. Yeah.
Yeah. When they are judged by specialists.
Yeah.
I think very often nowadays, I think that the big problem is that there are many big specialties judged by people who are maybe absolutely great judges, but have no connection with the breed.
Yeah, so, that's true. I mean, that's true, and that's a lot of discussions about that and everything. But I believe that, let's say, some really national specialties or something like that, it should be judged by a top breed specialist.
Yeah, I agree with you. One breed that you have never had at home but you would like to have?
Pekingese.
Oh, I can understand that very well. One dog person which is not alive anymore and you terribly miss.
And sorry, what? Can you repeat, please?
One dog person which is not alive anymore and you terribly miss.
I don't know what to say, but I can say that I had a huge respect for Mr. Tibor Lovrencic, our Croatian all-rounder. Really, I think he was far ahead of his time, and he was simply completely from another era. Really, I respected him a lot.
Yeah. Okay. During your career as an exhibitor and a judge, obviously you have met a lot of breeders all around the world. What would you say one breeder who, in your opinion, manages year after year to produce top quality dogs, doesn't matter which breed, one from Croatia and one from the rest of the world?
Yeah. I think that there are many breeders. I think really
everybody start like that.
No, I really no, because
Yeah.
okay, I'm just thinking about.
We
I think
agree
that
on that. Yeah.
I think there are many breeders. What is important? Really, it is important to have a vision and to have in front of your eyes what you want from a breed, what you want from your dogs, how they should look like in 10 or 20 or 30 years. Yeah. So let's say in my breed, there are at least 10 people that I really respect. Yeah, because they are producing generation after generation really, really good dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but this can be any breed.
Yeah.
Somebody from Croatia who always impress you with the quality of his dogs, and somebody from the rest of the world who always impress you with the quality of his dogs.
Yeah. What is coming to my mind? Okay, I will avoid Old English sheepdogs. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it like that.
Yeah, but let's say I've been always impressed, for example, with golden retrievers from Henrik Frykstrand. Yeah.
Okay.
Just simply generation after generation, beautiful dogs. Yeah.
And from Croatia?
From Croatia, it's hard to say because I'll forget somebody for sure.
No, but well, you need to say only one, so it's easy. Everybody else is going to be forgotten.
Everybody else would be angry. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that happens.
Yeah,
you can.
I think that Seka Domac is consistently producing very nice Caribou Terriers.
Yeah. Okay, Seka will be very happy to hear that. Okay, now there is one imaginary thing. If there would be a World Dog Show in Zagreb, and you would not judge, but you would show your dog, what would you feel as a special honor under which Croatian judge to win Best in Show? And you cannot say Tibor, it must be somebody who is alive.
I don't know. I never thought about that because first of all,
I can rephrase the question. One Croatian judge that you really respect and that whose opinion is extremely important for you. And it's the same with the breeder. You will say one name, and not everybody else will not get angry because they will understand maybe they were number 2, so it's okay.
Yeah. You should give me those questions a few hours before.
This is why I never give them in advance.
To start thinking about that. Yeah.
Yes, this is why I never give them in advance, because this is more fun.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. Really, I don't know, because for me, it's more or less after all those years and after all those shows and everything. Yeah. More or less for me, it's the same who is in the ring. Yeah.
Okay, but there is one judge that you say, okay, I really want to see if he likes this dog or not.
Yeah. But in Old English sheepdogs, then it will go out from Croatia. Then because then I will go. Then I would really go for opinion of some specialists. Yeah. Okay. Who are really deep in for the years. They are deeply in the breed, and even Ante. They don't even need to be a judge. It's enough because there are some breeders who are not judged at all, but I respect their opinion a lot.
Okay, now you have used your second joker, but let it be. You are paying a dinner. Okay, another difficult question. Let's say if you have 3 litters at home and 3 big litters, and you need to choose just one puppy. And you, Andrea, are not absolutely sure which one is the best puppy out of these 3 litters. Which 3 persons would you invite to help you to choose the puppy?
We never invite anybody to help us on that. We always.
Okay, but let's imagine
never.
that.
Never. No, we always do that on our own, and basically we discuss, we put good and bad, pro and con. And we always come to solution. We never. No, never. I can't even remember.
Okay, but if you would if you would need to ask somebody, not to help you to choose, but to let's say to discuss with you about the 3 litters that you have at home, which 3 persons would you like to call and discuss with them about the breed?
I can talk about the breeds.
Because I think this can actually help you in your life, that you start inviting people, because your wife is just writing, we never agree which one is the best. So maybe it would be good to bring another person and help you with that decision.
Yeah. I don't know why is Andrea now putting this things and making life more complicated than it is. Yeah.
Yes.
No,
I also don't know.
If I, of course, there are people that I would like to talk, but now if I start mentioning, I would forget something. But let's say trying from north, I would like to talk about pups with Birgitte Schott from Denmark, definitely with Christina Bailey from UK,
and one more.
From no, I can't say one more, but I'll tell you, I would like to talk, let's say, with the Johnson's family from States, and absolutely with Jerry Marder from States. So there are more people with I don't know, with Zemis from Australia. There are more people really,
Okay.
but at the end, we really don't need we don't need any more help to choose something. Yeah.
Okay. If you would need to thank 5 people in your life who helped you to become what you are today in dogs, which 5 people would you thank? They can be dead or alive.
Yeah. I'll tell you. It would be Jean-Pierre Rigolo, Claude Rigolo, Christina Bailey. Those three persons made biggest impact on us in dogs, for sure.
Yeah.
Then I would add late Croatian judge Dado Korica. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been judging with him a lot those breeding exams, and I have learned a lot from him. Yeah, definitely a lot from him. And fifth one would be also Croatian judge Sandor Horvat. Yeah.
Okay.
He helped me when I was a little kid, and that is so important. When I was, I don't know, 10 or 11, 12, 15, he helped me then. Yeah.
You have a nice comment from Sanna Pirinen from Finland saying, "Dear Davor, don't be so political and avoid the questions." So yes, many people try to do that. Okay, one dog that you judged, any breed that you will never forget.
One dog.
Obviously, I don't need the name of the dog. You can say the breed and on which show did you judge it.
Yeah, one dog that I can't forget. I can't forget one Dogo Argentino that I gave best in show in Argentina.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of the dog or something.
Of course, we don't need the name.
This dog is right now coming in front of my eyes. He was simply wow. Yeah.
Okay. But your brother had the dog Argentino, if I remember well.
He has a male and a female. Yeah.
Okay. If you were offered to judge 3 national specialties in the USA in the breeds of your choice, what would they be?
3 national specialties: Old English Sheepdogs, Afghan Hound, American Cockers.
Wonderful. Another difficult question. Again, imaginary. If, let's say, tomorrow you and Andrea decide that you want to stop breeding dogs and you want to stop having dogs at home, you give all your dogs in a pet homes, whatever, and after, let's say, 5 years or 10 years, you want to start to breed them again, to which kennel you will go to buy the puppy?
To kennel that continues with our bloodline.
Okay. This lesson you have learned, because many people answer like this.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, but no, absolutely yes. Yeah.
Okay. If you could improve in general one thing on your own dogs, what would you like to improve?
Okay, so I'll tell you like that. Yeah, I think that after so many generations, that we are pretty close to what we want. Yeah, and talking about type in general, that's it. I don't want to change anything. That's the type we fixed. Yeah, on absolutely every dog, there is something that I would like to improve. Yeah,
Okay.
because
But
if
is there one thing that generally bothers you with your dogs? I don't know. For example, in my dogs, I would like to fix the size, for example. Is there something that you would like to fix in your dogs?
so no, there's no one specific things. Yeah, because
Okay.
in some dog, I don't know, I like better head. In some dog, I like better front, better rear, better movement, this and that. But it's not. It's really, we don't have one thing that we
That you,
think, okay, this is
okay.
bad. Now we have to improve. No.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last quick question, and this will be easy probably. I know that, Andrea, I knew you were living more or less all around the world in different countries. Which one did you like the most and why?
Which, where to live in or what?
Yes, yeah, because you lived in Canada, you lived in Chile, you lived in Denmark, you lived in all corners of the world. Which one of these countries you were living in, except of Croatia, you
Yeah.
found, let's say, the best one for you, and why?
Yeah. So I think that okay. Those countries that you mentioned, and I used to live as a little kid 1 year in States as well. Yeah, but I was a really
Okay.
little. So each country has some good things and bad things, and which is normal. And each country is
Yeah.
beautiful on its own. Yeah. If you ask me for one, I would go for Canada without any thinking.
Doubt.
Canada
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
for me, from all those countries, Canada was the best one.
Okay,
Except
wonderful.
except for the dog shows.
Okay. Okay, well. Okay. Okay, we are done with the quick questions. No more political answers. Now we can continue to talk straight. Tell me, Davor, when you are deciding about breeding, what is in general your breeding strategy? How do you decide who are going to be the parents of your litter? Do you like to do outcrosses? Do you like to do close inbreeding? How important are the pedigrees for you? How do you make a decision which bitch is going to be mated with which male?
Yeah. So it's combination. It's combination of line breeding, and then at some time you simply need the outcross. Yeah. For that, I think that we had a great opportunity that we moved and we lived 5 years in Canada. That gave us wonderful opportunities for outcrosses. Yeah, for outcrosses with the good males that we really liked. Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you are talking about the breeding strategy, it is combination. You can't do all the time line breeding, inbreeding, or something, because my experience is that number of puppies is going down, fertility is going down, and with so many inbreeding, the pups, they are not so, when they are born, they are weak, they are not so strong. Yes, for that you simply have to. I mean, the mother nature is ruling that you simply need to put from time to time, you put some fresh blood. Yeah.
Okay.
When we are breeding, yeah, of course, first of all, when you are breeding, you know why you are breeding. Yeah, you are breeding. You have to improve something. Yeah, if you are breeding just to breeding, not to improve, then forget it. Yeah. So how to do that is simply, if you have to be very honest with yourself. Yeah, you have to be honest and say, okay, this bitch has this and this faults. Yeah, and what I want to improve are something of that. Yeah, especially the same applies on a male. There's no perfect dogs, and you try not to duplicate faults. Yeah, and then you are trying just to improve, to eliminate something and go one step back. Yeah? What is important, especially what is important with for let's say new breeders, fresh breeders or something. Yeah, if you have, in the bobtails we don't have this size limit, so we have minimum, not maximum. Yeah? But in this breeding strategy, if you have, I don't know, let's say the dog that is too small. Yeah, So then you are not going to breed with dog which is huge, yeah,
Yeah.
because you are not getting average. You have to go to breed with a normal size, with a good
Yeah.
size,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's, if you have a bitch which is, I don't know, straight in angulation, yeah, you are not going to breed to over angulate it, yeah. You are going to breed with a dog with correct angulation, yeah,
Yeah.
and things like that. But what is important? It is important, and this is easy to say, but it's not easy to do, yeah, because you have to understand what you have, and you have to understand what you want to improve and to find the proper one, yeah. And again, taking into consideration pedigree. For that, you need a lot of experience and knowledge, not to double some thoughts on, I don't know, grandparents or grandparents, grandparents, and things like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because in theory, it's very easy to breed the dogs, yeah. You need 4 sound legs, nice head, this and that, yeah, in theory. But in practice, something completely different.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And of course, there is also a lot of luck involved, I think, with like with everything else.
Absolutely. Without luck, forget
nothing. Yeah, that's true. I want to ask you, when you are choosing a puppy that you are going to sell to somebody as a show dog, or when you are choosing a puppy that you are going to keep for yourself, at what age do you choose the puppy? And also, I want to ask you what is that is most important for you. Somebody was asking, we can connect it with let me find it. Just Yvonne Bowles was asking you, have you experienced any bad temperaments? How important is a temperament for a puppy that you are going to sell for a show dog or keep for yourself?
Extremely important. Yeah, extremely important. And the temperament, I consider that as a health. Yeah, and bad temperament, that is a health issue. Yeah, so I think that's directly related. So the temperament is basically number one. Yeah, because you can have beautiful dog and you go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 50 shows. Yeah, but you are living with your dog for 10, 15 years. Yeah, and you are living every day with good or bad temperament. So the good temperament is absolutely critical. Yeah.
Did you, going back to the questions, did you ever had problems with the temperament with your dogs?
But not really that I can recall right now, because I think that we were, again, Ante, I'm for the third time I'm coming back to this thing. Buy a good foundation bitch. Yeah, a good foundation bitch it is a beautiful, healthy bitch with a good temperament. Yeah, and then try to build on that and try to avoid basically using any dogs, any males with so temperament or something like that. Yeah. So, and then not to forget, the question was when we select puppies. Yeah. Usually about I don't know, maybe 7, 8 weeks of age. Yeah, I know many people don't agree with that. Yeah, they keep pups longer and everything. My experience is, and our experience is that at that age, 7, 8 weeks, we almost never miss.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I must say that, I have interviewed till now, more or less, I would say 40, 45 persons, and more or less everybody say that they choose the puppies between 7 and 8 weeks. They say sometimes with 7 or 8 weeks, they are not sure which one is the best. Then maybe they keep 2 to not miss the better one, but it is generally the answer which they give. Yeah. And obviously, another question which I had was, do you and Andrea always agree on the pick of the litter? But she already explained that's not the case, so I don't need to ask you that.
But at the end we agree.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like in the marriage, at the end you need to have a compromise somehow. Yeah. I want to ask you now a little bit about judging. What is that you like the best, and what is that you hate the most about judging?
I can tell you what is my idea about judging, and that will answer your question. Yeah, I used to work for Microsoft. Yeah, maybe years ago, 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, and I was lucky enough that I was at once at the training in States, and Bill Gates personally gave us maybe 1.5 hour lesson. Yeah. And he was talking about his business, and that was basically at the end of his career in Microsoft. Yeah. And he was the richest man in the world. He was making money. It was unbelievable. Yeah. And at that moment, he shifted. He was finishing this career of Microsoft, and he was starting with his Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Yeah. So from getting money, he was just changing his life to giving money. Yeah. So from making billions to giving billions. Yeah. And that was, I didn't understand him at that time very much. Yeah. But what I really now connection with the judging, what I really like about judging, yeah, and how I see and what I think about judging, yeah, with all the years of experience, knowledge, this and that, I think when I'm judging, and what I really like the most, I giving something to people. I'm giving my honest opinion about their dogs, yeah, and that's what I really like. You can agree or not agree or something, but you are getting what I really think about your dogs. If I can help you that way, I'm happy. If I can't help you, okay, that's also okay. You can accept it or not. But this is really what I like most about judging, is this giving something from me, giving my experience, my knowledge, everything, just to help exhibitors, breeders, and they get from me what would I do if I'm owner of these dogs. What I don't like about judging, and that's happening all the time, unfortunately, I don't like making mistakes. Yeah. And I make mistakes. I know that, and I think that everybody makes mistakes.
Obviously, yes.
Even sometimes for weeks after judgings, I'm thinking about some classes or something. I said, "Oh, I did wrong."
yeah. But okay, that means that you care. So I think that's very important. Okay, I have just one question that I want you to answer. We are going shortly back to what we have talked, and obviously it's going to be a short answer, so I can ask it. I'm not going to even try to read the name and the surname of the viewer, because it's very difficult. He's asking if you are selecting a puppy, and one choice is a puppy with excellent type but moderate temperament, versus a puppy which is less gifted but excels in show temperament. Which one would you pick up?
I don't have, okay, let's put it like that. I don't have this experience, yeah, because we don't have this same. There's obviously there's a lot of questions and a lot of interest about temperaments in the pups, yeah. Usually we don't notice some big or important or huge differences in a temperament in our litters, yeah. So I can't say that, okay, I'm not going to take this puppy because I don't know what should be wrong with the temperament on that, yeah. So I'm assuming temperament is okay, yeah, and then I'm going for a type. But again, I think it is very, very important how.
Okay, but let's say if you would have a puppy which is absolutely amazing in type, but maybe a little bit shy, would you ever keep it for yourself or not?
No.
Okay, that's the answer. Okay, going back to judging, which group is your favorite group to judge, and which group you find the most difficult to judge?
That's a good one. My favorite group for judging, and I think you would be surprised, is a group 8.
Okay, well, yeah. That's where you started.
Yeah. The group that I find the most difficult, I think the most difficult is group 9. Yeah, because the breeds in the group 9 are so different. Yeah, they're totally different. Yeah, and they are not, let's say, in the majority of the breeds they are not classical show dogs. Yeah, there is a lot of different types. I think group 9, for me, group 9 is really, I mean, so
The
this
most
is a tough
difficult.
group. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want to ask you. You were the first Croatian judge to give CCs in the UK. Do you remember that experience?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Tell us
Yes,
about that.
I remember that was in Blackpool. It was extremely hot day. That was not typical from England, and yeah, that was a wonderful experience. I really enjoyed that, and I remember
Which
this show.
I suppose you have judged the Old English. Did you judge any other breed or just them?
No, only old English sheepdogs.
Okay. Okay. I want to ask you last question about judging, and this is something that I always ask to my guests, and this is something that it's always something that people like to talk about. Many people who became famous judges say, okay, we don't breed dogs and we don't show dogs anymore because we feel it's not nice that we show under our colleagues. So there are obviously many like yourself or like Henrik or many others who never stopped breeding and who decided they want to continue to breed and show dogs. My question is, number one, how difficult is for you to show under your colleagues? Number two, how difficult is for you to judge dogs shown by your colleagues? And number three, do you like or you are not crazy about judging your own breed on a huge shows?
Okay, let's go one by one. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have. Okay, first of all, I'm not. We are not showing dogs to our close friends. Yeah. No. Simply no. Yeah. We are showing dogs I'm showing dogs to my judge colleagues without any problems. Yeah. And I'm accepting their decisions, good or bad, whatever. I'm accepting that. No problems about that. Yeah. So then, what was the question number two?
How difficult is to judge dogs shown by your colleague judges?
Okay. Again, there is a group of people which I consider to be my close friends, and I tell them I don't want you in my ring or something. Yeah.
Okay, but we are talking about people that you meet regularly on the judges' dinners, but they are not your close friends.
Yeah, absolutely not a problem. And I'll give them, as I told before, my honest opinion about their dogs, and I place their dogs, and I think it's for a benefit of the breed and them, because I'm telling what I think about them. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one was some people say they love to judge their breed on big shows. Some people say if they can choose, they prefer not to judge their own breed because obviously they know everybody and they know the dogs and they know the people and so on. Do you like it or not?
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Absolutely not a problem about that. I have judged so many national specialties around the world in my breed. So basically, I've judged more or less from all breeders, dogs and everything. So absolutely not about that. And if you ask me, yes, I prefer to judge my breed at the big shows. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, now there are only two questions left, Davor. It is still 170 people watching us, and we have been talking for almost 2 hours. Before I ask you my last two questions, you have sent us 6 photos that are particularly important for yourself, for your life in dogs. Beltran is going to put these photos on the screen for all the people to see them, and I will ask you to comment shortly on them. So the first photo that we have, you have explained me before. It's one of your best in shows at the this old English Sheepdog European Specialty. I can show it to you which one is the photo, and people will see it now on the screen.
Yeah. I remember that was Old English Sheepdog, European Old English Sheepdog Specialty with an entry of more than 180 dogs. I already mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the name of this dog was Reatas A1. He was obviously dog from one of our first litters. Basically, he was a male from the first litter of the male and female that we imported from Christina Bailey. Yeah. And he first 1 year he was best opposite, and then a year after that he was best in show huge, huge specialty with enormous entry and everything. So that was simply wonderful.
Yeah. And the Brace is writing, it is Gene Collins from the UK judging.
Yeah. And especially, to win such a big entry under such a judge. I mean, this is bigger than a world show or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Second photo that you sent us is you winning, I suppose, I don't know if it's a group or the best in show, with the horse behind your back. I suppose it's famous Hungarian Silva Švarac show with the unforgettable and fabulous Elke Pepper, who unfortunately left us far too early. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was wonderful. I'll tell you a little story about that. Yeah, so, that was 2000 and something. Yeah, I've been invited to judge top 20 at the Old English Sheepdog Club of America National Specialty. Yeah, so that was the first time I judged top 20. Then I judged once more top 20. Yeah, and I went there, and when I saw this dog, I went absolutely crazy about this dog. The name of this dog was Bugaboo's Big Puff Daddy. Yeah, and I like this dog so much. I was just asking Doug Johnson from States, from Colorado, to send me this dog to Europe for some time. Yeah, and finally, dog. That was in September. Yeah? And then finally, dog came back to us after Westminster. Yeah, he was winning. First of all, he was a beautiful dog, winning as crazy, producing beautiful pups, amazing, absolutely amazing dogs. And I like this photo because that was to win a horse as a supreme best in show at a dog show, that was unbelievable. Yeah.
And there is a comment from Adriana Nemeth saying Sultan, the wonderful horse who's still living with Doug Johnson.
Yeah, and then the story starts. First, I want the horse, and I don't know nothing about horses. I don't even know what to do with this horse. I was afraid to touch. I don't. Okay, now what I'm going to do? Then I phoned to my mother. I say, look, I want a horse, and I'm bringing a horse back. And she was completely shocked. Where would you put a horse? Yeah, because I was kidding, of course. And after that, I phoned to States, to Doug, because I say, look, Doug, Puff just won a horse. What do you want me to do with this horse? Yeah. And then he said, okay, just don't tell to my wife. Nothing, don't tell, because she's crazy with the horses. They already had a few horses. And I said, yes, but that's going to be in the newspapers, on the internet here. And then more or less she would know that. And then next day he phoned me back and he said, okay, I told to my wife and she wants this horse in States.
Okay.
And then this nightmare of a transport horse from Hungary to Colorado started, and with all those blood tests, and first from Hungary to Frankfurt by truck, and then Frankfurt, New York in plane, and then another truck to Colorado, and then they have to build a new stable. Yeah, and finally Doug told me, this free horse that you won cost me $50,000.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Horse anymore.
Yeah.
So we were always laughing at this horse, and at that time it was a young horse. And then I asked one Italian guy who was there showing Bergamasco. I didn't know anything about horse, and I said, "Is it a good horse?" And he said, "Only for sausages." And I was like, finally today. The Adriana is very right. Today it is amazingly beautiful Lipizzaner, trained, and even but the horse is wonderful, still alive. Yeah. And
wonderful. Okay, photo number 3 is you winning best in show, and I can see it is a show in Vukovar. There is your wife. There are 2 kids. There is late Micha Jovanovic. Why did you? It's a family photo, actually.
Yeah. Basically, what I wanted to put this photo as to say, to breeding dogs the way we do. When we have dogs living in-house in the family with us, it is the family is involved in that. Also, Andrea and kids, everybody is involved in the dogs on a daily basis. My kids, they grew up with the dogs. and that's not one person business. It is a family thing, and that is why I really like this photo. That was years ago. You see, the kids were small,
Yes.
but I just wanted to show that as an example that really it is a family thing.
Yeah. Picture number 4 is you winning something under the great Rainer Vuorinen. Tell us about that.
That was one. That was a best in show at one specialty. First
In
of all,
Zagreb.
it is Zagreb. Yeah, it is. It is a great thing to win under Rainer Vuorinen. That's one thing. And but what is also important on this photo, the dog on this photo, that's famous Reatas Cosmopolitan. Yeah, that was a dog that I sent to Nicolas Canales as a 8 weeks old puppy, 8-9 weeks, 2 months old puppy, and this dog became, I think, one of the most important dogs in the recent years. He won best of breed at World Show from junior class. Yeah, he won. After that, he won European Show, and I think Group 2 at European Show. He finished English Championship in 3 or 4 shows, winning best of breed at Crafts. So he's definitely one of the most successful dogs from our breeding, and absolutely amazing producer. Yeah. We are still today. We are trying to do some line breeding on Cosmopolitan. Yeah. Because he was wonderful mover to die for.
Yeah. Nicolas Canales has right Cosmo and a heart, so obviously he's happy that you have included him in these photos.
I mean, that is a special dog.
Yeah. Picture number 5 is you and Andrea laughing, and someone who I don't recognize keeping a dog. So help me with the story.
That's another European bobtail specialty. Yeah, that one was in Spain, again with huge entry, and the dog on the photo, that's a litter brother from Cosmopolitan. Yeah, that was from Sea Litter. So the dog, obviously, he was at that day, he was best in show at European bobtail specialty, and the owner was Marty Harrison. She came from States to show the dog there, and that was. This dog was beautiful. That shows that this theory about that you have in 1 litter 1 dog outstanding, other average, it's not true, because obviously in this litter there were five dogs, 5 champions, and that was one wonderful win under the most respected judge, Christina Bailey. I respect her enormously, and I think on this photo it shows that the only serious one at this photo is a dog.
Yeah, that's true.
We were just so happy and everything. That was the photo after the show. I have no idea what we were laughing about. But I remember we had a wonderful time, and it's telling about much more about dog shows. It's not just about winning or something. It's about friendship and fun and having nice time and everything. So that was absolutely unforgettable. And by the way, and I will just put point. Party after that was also unforgettable.
Yeah, or maybe forgettable.
I hope that Andrea won't comment that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then the last picture is you and the bobtail moving in the dark. That's to close the story of 6 pictures that are important for you.
Yeah, that is Reatas Jimbo. Yeah, that's a dog that went to Istvar Setmar, to Hungary, to his kennels, and he won a group at European Show. He won a group at the World Show, and he was reserve best in show at the European Show. This dog was simply born talent for showing. Yeah, beautiful dog. But he was so talented that was amazing, yeah. And he produced wonderful pups, and his sister as well. There were only 2 pups in this litter. They were complete outcross, yeah. But they produced wonderful puppies, and they've been winning a lot, yeah. And I think that was that he really add a lot to the Istvan's bottom shaker kennel, basically in the future and everything.
Yeah.
Both
Okay. Yeah.
and his sister.
Yeah. Okay, we are done with the photos. I will read just two of the comments. Andrew Brace is writing, Cosmo was just amazing. I remember seeing him as a striking puppy in Greece. The first time I met Nicolas, Rainer was there too. And then there is a comment from Gerardo Paolucci saying, hello, Javor from Argentina. We have a great story of since we met years ago with his first couple of dogs, multi-champion Reata's Big Blue, a super winner, number one herding dog in Argentina, and sire of the greatest dogs here. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad that Gerardo is here. You know, I have to tell you something. Yeah, this Reata's Big Blue, that was an absolutely outstanding male. Yeah, and we met Gerardo while we were living in Chile. Yeah, we went there with our dogs and everything, and at that time we thought that we were really good in showing and handling and grooming and everything. Yeah, and we were good in Europe. Absolutely, we were winning a lot, and so. And then Gerardo came from Buenos Aires to Santiago to pick up the puppy, and then we were talking, and he stayed a couple of days in our house and everything. And then he said, okay, that he wanted to groom our male. Yeah, there. I said, okay, Gerardo, if you want, just show us what are you doing. And I was after maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, I can't remember. I almost didn't recognize our own big multi-champion, European champion, blah, blah, blah champion, what Gerardo did on him. Yeah, that was for me right now, today, and that was years ago. For me, Gerardo was and is the best Old English Sheepdog groomer on this planet. Yeah, I didn't recognize my own dog, and I was not the beginner.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm sure that Gerardo will be happy to hear that. There is a comment from Dennis Lobo, who is saying in Brazil we had Pele, grandson from Cosmo, and now with me lives Dante from Animaro Queen. Amazing dogs, amazing temperaments. And then we have Josef Koroknaj also putting Simba and Nala and some hearts. So there is a lot of people who are in a way.
You know, that is important. I'm glad that Dennis commented. Yeah, Dennis is doing amazing things with all the English sheepdogs in South America and in Brazil. Yeah, that's from one side, and it's simply amazing. And another thing is, Dennis is a wonderful groomer. He really knows how to groom and how to condition those dogs. Yeah, he is an amazing guy. So those things that we are always talking about Europe, America, Canada, Australia. Yeah, but there are some amazing people in South America as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's nice that there are a lot of people who are watching this and in a way commenting with having a personal experience with your dogs. That's obviously always the nicest to hear. Okay. My penultimate question for you, Davor, tonight. What would be your advice for someone young who wants to start with dogs and become successful as a breeder or as a judge or as an exhibitor?
In my answer, in only one word, is mentor.
Okay.
So you have, as a new people, it's much easier, much quicker, much better, much whatever. You will save time and money and nerves and everything. Find a good mentor who can help you to go through all this.
Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, I think it is something that's being constantly repeated in my interviews. People saying how important were the mentors for them, and also talking quite often that new young people are not so interested to find mentors. But that's obviously maybe not all of them. Obviously, there are some who are, but obviously that's
unfortunately. There are, maybe that's typical for young people. There's a lot of young people who think that they already know a lot or everything or something, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, in this sport or in this game, it's not like going to university. Go to university, you finish university in 4 or 5 years, and then you are, I don't know what. Yeah. No, here you need much longer time. You need much more experience, and it's much slower process. Yeah. For example, I can tell you, I became judge far too early. Yeah. I don't know where I was rushing, but now I know I was far too young, too unexperienced, whatever, when I became a judge, and that was wrong.
Yeah. Well, okay. After all these years, obviously now you have experience. So imagine if you started now, you would be very old when you would get the experience. So that's also not so bad. Okay, my last question for you, Davor, tonight. We all know all the things that are happening all around the world with the new rules, with the animal activists, with the protests on the dog shows, with the banning of the Brahi breeds, with the banning of cosmetics, with banning of line breeding, and so on and so on. How do you see the future of the sport? And do you think that, let's say, in 10 years, breeding and showing of dogs is going to look the same as it is today?
It's hard to say, but I think that we are not doing well. If you ask me honestly, I think that we are not doing well. I think we have much more power in our kennel clubs, in our organizations, and we are simply not using this power. Yeah, I don't know why we are all the time in some defensive mode. We are all the time telling but that's why we are trying to find excuses or something. I think that we have to change approach completely. Yeah, completely. We are majority. Yeah, and we are allowing minority to dictate what and how and everything. We have to be proactive. We have to be much more aggressive, if you want to say. We have to put a lot of efforts in PR, in marketing, and to tell the story, because now if we continue this way, we have a bad reputation of breeders are greedy, ugly people who want, I don't know, which is not true. I'm not telling that everything is perfect among breeders, yeah, but the majority of the breeders are correct, honest people, and first of all, big dog lovers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because absolutely. I will never allow to any animal rights activist to say that they love the dogs more than I do. Yeah. No, that's simply not true.
Yeah. Okay, Davor. First of all, thank you for accepting my invitation. I think we had a really good time. I hope you have enjoyed it, because obviously I have enjoyed it a lot, and obviously there have been almost 200 people watching us for 2 hours, more than 2 hours, which means a lot. So I think that's just amazing. I want to obviously to thank to all of you who were watching, to all of you who left now almost 200 comments during our interview. I hope Davor, when he relaxes a little bit from tonight, he will be able to rewatch the interview and check all the nice comments that were written by many people that you personally know, and by other people maybe that you don't know. I want to say that next Wednesday I'm going to have another master breeders, people like Davor, and people like many that I have interviewed in the last time, who have made a significant things as breeders, first of all. And these are Rickard and Gertrude Hagstrom, or very famous Irish Terrier Kennel Merrimack from Sweden. I'm sure many people will enjoy to listen to them. And before I let you say last words of tonight to you, Davor, let me just say that we have people, let me see, just to tell you that it is not only you and me who have enjoyed this talk. Christina Bailey is saying, thank you both, Ant and Davor, for a very nice and interesting interview and evening. Let me see, Yvonne Bowles is saying, thank you both, so awesome. Jer Marder is saying, a wonderful interview and exchange of thoughts. Well done to both of you. Barbara Gruz is saying, thank you both, Ant and Davor, for this amazing interview. Likorgus from Greece is saying, thank you both for this interesting conversation. Congrats. Ivana is saying, thanks for the interview. It's been awesome. Jurica is saying, thank you for tonight's interview. It was expected to be great. Thank you. Orit Nevo is saying thank you. Liz is saying thank you, Davor. I enjoyed your interview, and many others. Now, obviously, of course, now a lot of comments are coming as usual at the end of the interview. People saying thank you to you and a little bit also to me for giving them this possibility to enjoy the Wednesday evening among dog lovers. I'm sure you will be happy to read them. I leave the last words of tonight to you, Davor, and like that we are going to go off from this lovely evening.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Ante. Thank you, Ante, for having me here, and thanks everybody for staying with us. And if I gave you some ideas, some things to thought, I'm happy about that. I think that every breeder and everybody in this sport, that we have to do our best to preserve the breed, to improve the breed, and to get something, to leave something for the future generations, just to continue with our breeds and our sport. I think that's main goal of us. Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Davor, and I hope sooner or later we will all be able to meet live somewhere at the dog shows, but obviously it doesn't look very promising at the moment. Thanks for watching, and see you next Wednesday in Talking Dogs with Ante. Good night, everyone, and stay safe. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
The desire for freedom, to jump, take a walk, go back to our previous life, just a touch more patience. We have learned not to be in such a hurry, learn to live each moment, do things the Monja way. We too are a family. Taking care of the ones we love and feeding them with our love, we will go back to how things were. Time is on our side. We are on your side. Monja, the pet food that thinks positive.